Okay. So, Mr. Chairman, good committee, I am representing Barbara Ehardt, District 33, and what we have here is campus free speech. This has been before our committee, but only a couple of you probably would have heard this. This is important to me, having worked at higher ed for 15 years, both coaching and teaching, and the legislation deals more directly with securing our First Amendment rights, which is typically a problem on campuses. Okay, campuses often end up with speech codes and basically areas considered where certain people can do certain things, such as if you happen to be a conservative, you often get sent out to, the North 40 where nobody can see nor hear you. And so such things like that is absolutely not fair. And on campuses where we actually appreciate the diversity of thought experience, deductive reasoning, the valuing of opinions, we should be protecting these rights. I do want to point something that should be on your front page, but it is taken from the Supreme Court and in Healy versus James, and it was this statement, but peculiarly the market of ideas where young adults learn to exercise the constitutional rights necessary to participate in our system of government and to tolerate others exercise the same rights. And there is no room for the view that the First Amendment protection should apply with less force on college campuses than in the community at large. In other words, we don't check our First Amendments at the curb of a college campus. A few years ago when I brought this, it was with Representative John McCrosty, and we had huge bipartisan support. I think we had one Democrat and one Republican both not vote for it on the floor. This process, this legislation has been actually in the works for the last couple years and working incredibly closely with Boise State. You may ask why not the others. It's a little more difficult when they're not right there in your backyard, and so often most of the states that have passed this, 20 plus states, have worked with their primary or more predominant university. No offense to our others, but Boise State is again right here in our backyard, and they've been incredibly helpful through the work with this. I've worked with them, obviously, Alliance Defending Freedom, the State Board of Education, ACLU, Fire, university presidents, and no doubt a couple others. So that I can turn some time over to Mr. Pruitt, let me also state that unfortunately Idaho has had numerous, and I don't want to embarrass any universities, some have been recent, we have had numerous examples where we continually deny free speech, and every time it happens we lose. And maybe Mr. Pruitt can go into what was the impetus even behind this, when they first started helping get these passed in states, because states, universities continually denied wrongfully the free speech, and as this legislation clearly spelling out what can and can't be done using, this is another key point, using language from black letter law being that which is already taken from Supreme Court and language that has been clearly passed. And so with that, if I could, because I know I don't want to spend tons of time and want to be able to answer questions, or rather allow Mr. Pruitt to answer questions. Mr. Chairman, if I could, I would like to now turn the time over to my colleague, Mr. Pruitt.
Thank you, Representative Ehardt.